just gonna move on. This is what sticky tabs will do for you. Today's video was going to be some light, gentle tapping and a whisper ramble, which I guess I can do still. I'll just have to do one-handed. I don't know if I'll still tap because sometimes I like to go in with both. So, anywho, let's just get right into it. It is currently raining outside, and if you know, I love the rain so much. Although I do think it's just a little bit weird that it's raining, or that it's been raining so much this winter. Because if memory serves, the past few winters, maybe at the beginning it would rain sometimes, but it definitely wasn't this much. Definitely wasn't this much. It's been raining like every other day, on and off, for the past couple of weeks. And I say every other day because it snows, then it rains, then it snows, then it rains. Like, what is happening? And it has been so foggy. Like, on the way to work, people are literally putting their brights on, which typically you cannot do because it blinds the other drivers. And that's not good, because if they can't see it, makes it more likely for accidents to happen. But having your brights on is literally the only way you can see. And get this, the fog has been so thick that even having your brights on barely penetrates. I'm not even joking. And it kind of reminds me of that movie. Is it called The Fog? I can't remember. It's like a Stephen King movie, which of course is like so out of pocket and weird and strange, as all of his movies are. But it kind of reminds me of that movie, of how like there was all of a sudden there's this fog that descends upon the town, and nobody knows where it came from. And long story short, because I was about to tell you an entire synopsis of the movie, but long story short, everyone kind of gets like trapped in this grocery store because nobody wants to go outside in the fog, because you quite literally can see nothing. You can't see anything. And then eventually, of course, creatures come out to eat everyone because it's Stephen King, of course. But it kind of reminds me of that movie, and I'm like, hold up, wait a minute. There better not be, like 8-legged creatures hiding in this fog, she had a little girl. She was beautiful. Oh my god, she was probably the most beautiful kid I've ever seen in my life. And she was so sassy, and she had this like little kitty purse that she always like swung around when she was walking. She was adorable. Man, my mom called her Diva, because I kid you not, she would be walking with her purse on her arm and swinging her arm, and therefore her purse, like she was a 45-year-old woman. Like, it was crazy. We called her Diva. She's a little diva. And we mean that in the best way possible. And anywho, her bedroom was, we shared a wall, me and the baby. We shared a wall. And I swear to God, she watched nothing but the Backyardigans. Her mom had to have DVR'd it, because back to back, all I heard was, we've got the whole wide world to explore, like the Backyardigans theme song. Something with our friends, the Backyardigans. Oh my god, all I heard was the Backyardigans. And I knew I could swear on an episode that song was on an episode. Although I feel like it became like a TikTok sound at one point, but I swear it originated from the Backyardigans. Am I high? Like, somebody tell me, validate me. So anyway, how are you? How have you been? How was your week? How was your week going so far? Or how was your weekend? I don't know when this is gonna be posted, but let me know how your past couple of days have been. I love to keep up with you guys, to keep updated on the facets of your life that you are willing to share on the internet. I had a pretty good day at work today, which is like, oh, I love when that happens. I love when that happens, because when you're not super enthused about your work and or coworkers and just the toxic environment, sometimes, you don't always have those good days, but today was a really good day, and let me tell you why. We ended up having a meeting today at work. We ended up having a meeting, and it was like a safety protocol supposed to last that long. And towards the end of it, management kept being like, okay guys, we've got to wrap it up. But more people were like, but I haven't spoken, but I have to say. And so they pushed it so far, like literally. Because I left early, so I literally only did 25 minutes of work, and then I left, and so I had an hour left at the shift. We all had an hour left of the shift after that meeting, but I only worked for 25 minutes of that, and then I left. So, but it's just so funny, and management knows, leadership knows what people are trying to do when they do that. They know that they're just trying to push the meeting to go on as long as humanly possible, but there's really nothing they can do about it, because if someone, for the purposes of the meeting and what they're trying to accomplish, if someone is saying that they have something valid, like a valid question or concern that needs to be expressed, valid feedback, which is what this is for, they have to be heard. But you can tell that like most of the managers or most of leadership is pretty chill about it, but some of the like higher, like top dog, like, you know, of the pyramid, the top managers, they were so agitated by it, because it's like, we're paying y'all all day to sit down and do absolutely nothing. It ain't my fault. Did I do that? Do you know where that's from? A lot of you probably. I'd be surprised if anyone knew where that was from. So, anywho, it was basically an easy peasy lemon squeezy kind of work day for me. I was so happy. I was so happy, because I got paid to sit down all day, and I don't have a sit down job. I have an intense physical labor job, so it was a nice change. Let's switch objects potentially. If I don't like it, I'll go back, but I really only want to bring this in. Because I want to tell you, I got this from Target. A couple of, oh, someone's coughing in my house. I got coughing in their sleep, no less. What's going on? I got this from Target a couple of days ago, and I hate it. So don't. It's the Advanced Repair Unscented Body Lotion from the Up and Up brand. Brand, which is the Target brand. And when I tell you, this is the worst lotion I have ever used in my entire life. I've put on three. Oh my god, that's gonna bother me. Three, not one, not two, but three pumps, like separately, like a full pump, and rubbed it into my hands, and they were still ashy and dry. So I did another one. It made it a little better, but they still weren't fully hydrated. So I did another one, and my in between, you know how the webbing of your hands, especially if you're someone that washes your hands as much as I do, being the germaphobe that I am. You know how the webbing can get kind of, it's like almost one of the driest parts on your hands, and when you spread your hands, it's like ashy and dry. They are still not fully, like, you can see the white dryness right there, and here. They're still not fully moisturized, and I'm telling you, I did 3 like this, like big coats, and still they suck. And it's it sinks right into the skin, so it doesn't sit on top of your skin or anything like that, but it sinks in and doesn't do a dang thing to, like, it does not do its job. It's like you're applying air to your skin. It doesn't feel good. It doesn't, and it's unscented, so it doesn't feel good. It doesn't smell good. It doesn't, you don't walk away from it with that healthy glow and shine. And trust me, it looks like there's one, but it's because of the ring light. Without the ring light, like if I put my hand under the camera into the darkness where you can't see, like the ring light isn't shining, it's not glistening like that. It's just from the ring light. It's the worst lotion I've ever used in my life, and I got it because I'm trying to budget. I have been doing a lot of spending, like even before the holidays. If you're on my Patreon, you know, not me giving my Patreon like literal hours long shopping videos every single month, like shopping hauls, because I've just been shopping so much. And so anywho, long story short, I'm trying to cut some of my spending because the bank account, especially after the holidays, is like, okay, let us breathe. I have seen the dip, and I'm like, okay, I gotta build it back up. So I'm cutting corners, essentially cutting off unnecessary spending. Although I've got a couple packages coming in the mail, but that was before I made the decision to stop shopping so much. So yeah, I just wanted to tap on this because I really wanted to tell you, do not get this unless you're desperate and have no other option, like me. So I'm trying to cut back on my spending, and so therefore when I'm going to restock on certain products like my moisturizers and lotions and stuff, I recently have been getting the cheaper versions and the things that are on sale and stuff like that. So I picked this up because it was like 30 cents cheaper than my usual lotion. And you might be like, oh my god, what's 30 cents? Like, you couldn't have spent 30 cents adds up, especially when you're cutting corners. Well, that's just what we're gonna say with all of your other products as well. And so this is 30 cents less than that. Then you are switching up another product that you usually use, and that one's 25 cents less, and then like all of it adds up to where you're saving dollars, you know, all of the multiple products that you are saving cents on, it all adds up once you, like, your final total is reached and such. And so anyway, I got this because it was cheaper than my usual, and you get what you pay for, bestie. I think it was like $3.85, and it is quite big. You do get a lot of product. It just, the product sucks, that's all. So because I am like cutting back on spending and trying to cut costs, ooh, and things like that, I also have been finding it very soothing when it comes to like grocery shopping to meal prep, which I've always done, but I have been taking a lot of joy and pleasure in writing a physical list, because usually what I do and what I've done for years is I make the list in my phone notes, and I did that because what is it, like corporal punishment in school or whatever, when they would make you write "I will not talk in class" or whatever it was 100 times, like over and over and over and over 100 times as punishment. Like, can we talk about how that was actually so trash? Like, you're literally putting us in pain, which is the goal. Because you can say like, oh, it's about like getting the point across and making sure that you don't do this particular thing ever again, making sure that they drive it home. I will not do such and such. No, it's about putting these kids in pain. Anywho, I just thought about that because when we would have to do that, I would literally be crying doing it, because I don't know how it happened or how it got there, but I've always had like a callus right here, but that's where I write, like that's where the weight of my pen or pencil leans against, and it's so painful, and so I just can't write for long periods of time. And when I got out of school, I stopped doing it willingly, and I just transferred everything over electronically in my notes tab or on my computer or whatever. But I've always been a list maker, and I've always found intense satisfaction on physically writing the list. And so I've recently gotten back into doing that, specifically for my groceries, specifically for my groceries. And it's so fun. I don't know, like, am I boring it? That's so fun to me. It just makes me happy. So I've been trying to come up with like cheap budget-friendly meals for the next couple of weeks, meal prepping and such. And I've been succeeding. Some of it has been, so what I literally will do is I'll be like, okay, let's say, like, I've been craving a specific dish from a fast food restaurant, right? My back hurts so bad, you guys. That's why I'm leaned over like this. I'm sorry. So let's say that bring it home, babe. Lost my train of thought, but it's gonna come back to me. I've been craving a specific dish. I think to myself, how can I make that dish myself in a budget friendly manner, instead of actually going to that restaurant or fast food place and getting it. And so I've not had one of these bowls in it. Literally, I have not had KFC. I've not had KFC in literal years. But I've been wanting that. I don't even know what they call it. That famous bowl that's got the chicken and mashed potatoes and stuff. And so I'm going to the grocery store tomorrow, and I got my list out. I'm gonna get a rotisserie chicken. Because those can actually be quite cheap, especially if you buy a rotisserie chicken uncooked and you just follow the instructions and cook it yourself. It's always way cheaper than the ones that come cooked. But I'll be honest, I always get them cooked. And so I'm gonna buy a rotisserie chicken and shred it all up, and then put it in one of my airtight glass containers so that over the week I can, make different dishes with this rotisserie chicken. And so, specifically to recreate this bowl, right, I'm gonna get the rotisserie chicken for the chicken portion. I'm going to buy a couple of potatoes, which are very cheap. A couple of russet potatoes, or you can get golden, but russet is usually the cheapest. I'm gonna get a couple of russet potatoes, and you can get like I don't know, 5 potatoes for under $2. dishes that my Nana, who's a Mississippi gal through and through, that my Nana taught me how to make, you know, passed the recipes down to me, and one of those is her homemade gravy, southern styled gravy. And I always have the ingredients for that on hand because all of the ingredients for the homemade gravy are staples, so I don't have to buy that. So and then I'll buy some sprinkled cheese, sprinkle cheese, or shredded cheese, as most humans say. I literally never say shredded cheese my entire life. Since I was a kid and knew what cheese was, I've always called it sprinkled cheese. I just can't get out of it. I remember being a kid and being like, Mom, can I have some sprinkled cheese? Sprinkled cheese on my pasta. And she's like, yes, honey, of course, but it's shredded. And it just never stuck. I always say sprinkle. So basically the only things I'm gonna have to buy is a rotisserie chicken, which aren't that expensive when you, in comparison to how long it lasts, especially if you like clean the bone essentially and you shred all the chicken up. It can last for days. And so you can divide the price of the rotisserie chicken over the amount of days that it'll last you, and you'll probably be spending like a couple cents a day, or maybe like $1 a day, if that. You know, if you were to, some people budget like that, where it's like, have you seen those YouTube videos where it's like, I'm a college student and I spend $2.60 a day on meals, but then they're only allowed to title it that way because of how they divide it up. Like, you go grocery shopping all in one day and your actual grocery bill is like $30, but because they divide like how much you would be spending on the chicken a day, I don't even know if I'm making sense, but you know, essentially you should know what I'm trying to say, I would hope. It's basically just the way that they divide all the different things up and spread it throughout the day. So it's like, okay, let's say the chicken costs $6 and it's gonna last me 6 days. Well, I only spent $1 a day on the chicken. You know what I'm saying? That's how they do it, and that's how they explain it in those videos. And it's like, so actually, you didn't spend $2.60 on this meal. You spent way more, but it's the way that you are breaking it down that's making it seem like it's a super cheap meal. But anywho, all that to say, rotisserie chickens usually are not that expensive and they last a while. So I'm gonna buy that. I'm gonna buy a couple of potatoes, which again are fairly cheap, and then a can of sweet corn. And that's it. Like, that's a very cheap grocery. That's not it, but I'm just saying, for that meal, that's a very cheap grocery list, right? That's like under $20 for sure. And then the reason I said that's not it is because even a family pack frozen dinner like that would only last like 2 days tops. But I'm gonna bulk it up, so I'm gonna use the remainder of the shredded up rotisserie chicken that I don't use in the bowls. Like once I'm done with the bowls, I'm gonna use the rest of that and throw it over there in the frozen dinner to bulk it up. Then I'm also going to use the leftover can of corn. So I'll probably buy 2 cans of corn. I'll also use the leftover canned corn and throw that in there to bulk it up. And then I've already got in the freezer some frozen broccoli. I'll throw that in there to bulk it up. So basically I'm having a frozen dinner, but I'm adding in a bunch of other ingredients that are already in there. So like there's already chicken in there, but I'm adding more to make it a bigger meal that'll last longer. There's already corn in there, but I'm adding my own can of corn to make it last longer. There's already broccoli, but I'm adding more broccoli. You see what I'm saying? So I don't know if you guys have ever done that or thought about that, but that's a good way if you're like trying to get by on a budget in terms of like meal prepping and things like that. That's a good hack that I found, is getting some kind of dinner like that and then just adding stuff to it, stuff that's already there, but adding more of that to it, so that a portion that's like this becomes like this, you know what I'm saying? And it'll last you a couple of days. So those are the three, because I've already got the garden burgers, those are the 3 meals that are gonna last me the next 7 days. And I'm pretty happy and excited about it, because I'm proud of myself, because I know that for a week's worth of food I'll probably spend around like 20, maybe $25. So again, that's a rotisserie chicken. I'll say 2 cans of corn, a tomato, a couple of russet potatoes, and a frozen dinner. Is that it? Am I missing something? And some sprinkled cheese. Sprinkle cheese. And I'm gonna be spending under $30. When typically my grocery bills are like 70, 80 bucks, if not more, depending on how much fresh produce I get. Which is so sad. Like the more fresh produce and fruits and vegetables and things that I get, as you know, it is everywhere, those things are more expensive than like the processed, like canned good and frozen veggies and stuff like that. I just think it's sad in general all over the world that that's the case, because of course the fresh is better for you nutritionally. But they make it unattainable to some people, especially if they're a big family and they're a low income family. They make healthy eating so unattainable to a large amount of Americans. I can't speak on other countries, right? So that's why I'm saying Americans, and it's just very sad. So yeah, I typically spend almost $100 every single week on groceries, because I'm always getting like bunches of kale and a couple bunches of fresh asparagus, and I like getting wild caught salmon every time I go grocery shopping, because I like having salmon at least twice a week if possible, because that, like, salmon alone is like 20 bucks. And I like getting, tons of berries and zucchini and peppers and all the things, and so I just spend a lot of money on groceries, because I'm such a big foodie, and that's like was I saying? Oh no, I need to go to bed. I don't know what I was saying. I don't know what I was saying. I don't know what I was saying. I feel like I was talking about groceries. Oh, I typically put on like mukbangs and stuff when I'm eating, and I brought my phone up, and it's like I'm sitting down and having a meal with a girlfriend, a good friend. Like we're on FaceTime sharing a meal together, and I thoroughly enjoy that. I've been enjoying it. I've been enjoying doing that for years. So that's like the best part of my day, to be honest with you. To be honest with you, and like all day at work today, I was thinking about what I was gonna eat when I got home, which I had pierogies. I had a like mushroom zucchini mixture that I sauteed up in the skillet, and I had turkey sausage, and that was it. Sounds really weird, but it was delicious. And I ate that. Was a meal that I'd been eating off of for a couple of days, so I ate the last of it tonight for dinner. And you'd think I would be tired of it, but I just love that meal so much. I've been remaking it for the past couple of weeks, every single week. So I'm a little bummed that I'm not gonna remake it this week, this upcoming week. But that's okay. A couple of weeks of sacrifice, and you know, pulling on a budget to get my finances back where I want them to be. Sometimes it just be like that. Sometimes you gotta do that, and that's okay. So, anywho, I'm gonna go. Is there anything else I want to talk to you about? I should do some more tapping. I like this best for the tapping. I mean, this isn't something like I extensively want to talk to you about, but it's something that I've been thinking about recently. My skin has been, this is the thing. When I tell people that I don't have a skincare routine, that I've never had a skincare routine, like a steady one in my entire life, I may do something here and there for my skin, but I don't actively have a skincare routine. Like when I do those videos for you guys, I'm pulling from thin air and just putting a bunch of stuff that I use for other things together and calling it a skincare routine. When I tell people that, and then everyone already knows I don't wear makeup, people are like, you're lying. Like, how can you have such good skin? You don't even have a skincare routine. Like, it's not possible. Listen. It's so cliche to say, and I know people get so angry with us for saying this, but what you put in your body truly matters and shows up on your skin. Like, I was just looking through old photos, and I've got a photo from 2021, I think it's 2021, and my skin was the best it had ever been. It was flawless. Maybe I'll insert a picture. And that's because but eventually it clears up. I don't do a skincare routine. I do nothing to my skin, and it becomes flawless. Flawless, 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 flawless. And then the second I reincorporate meat and or dairy, it doesn't matter if it's one or the other or both, my skin riots, and it's breakout after breakout after breakout, and the ring light covers up a lot of it, but like even here you can see, if you really look, the bumps. My skin riots. It is not happy when I have either of those things back in my diet. So I know people are so tired of girls saying like, oh, just stay hydrated and eat healthy and your skin will be fine. It seems like total bullshit, and again, it doesn't happen overnight. It takes like months of you being on, because you've got to detox, right? So it takes months of you being off of the animal products before you start seeing any kind of change. But it does happen, and then it will stay that way as long as you stay off of those things. Now, I will say that not everything is one size fits all, and I know that. I know I'm delivering it as if like if you did this, your skin would be, and I don't mean it to come across that way. I just know from experience, because we speak from our personal experience, right? From my experience, I know that to be the truth, and I've heard other people speak and that be their truth as well. But there is not, I can acknowledge that there is not a one size fits all, especially when it comes to the human body, right? Because there's so many different factors, genetics, area, location, and just all the different things, health conditions, like pre-existing health conditions. There's so many different things. So that very well could not work even after months and months and months for everybody. I know that. But if you're someone that struggles with your skin and you have not yet tried that and like was consistent with it for months, like I said, it's something that I would recommend just to give it a shot and see if you see any improvement, because again, from personal experience, I know that it is amazing on me, on my skin, and maybe it'll be that way for you too. So I'm thinking about, I got back on the meat and dairy because I was going to the doctor for some things, and there was all these tests being run, and my doctor gave me a list of foods that I should and I shouldn't eat for the purpose of like the things that were happening at that time. And there were certain things on there that I had not had in my diet for a very long time that I reintroduced because I'm trusting in my doctor, and I'm like, okay, they're gonna help me get better. And it's kind of like a double-edged sword, because it's like, wow, I don't know if it's placebo effect, like your doctor saying do this and you'll feel better, and then you do it and you feel better sometimes, not all the time. But it's kind of like a double-edged sword, because it's like a reincorporate these specific things and physically you'll feel better, but your skin is going to be a fucking dumpster fire. Like it's just not gonna be great. So it's like a win-lose situation, but I am thinking about taking dairy out of my diet again. I'll leave the meat for a little while, potentially. It's really easy for me to get off of meat. I've never had an issue taking that out of my diet. It's always like I make the decision and the next day I'm Gucci. But the dairy fucks me up. Like if always been my downfall. I love cheese. I love ranch. My God, it's just so good. And there have been literal studies done about how dairy activates a certain part of your brain that gets activated when you're doing drugs. I just got a Snapchat from my friend Sasha. Hey boo, if you're watching. But no joke, there have been literal studies done about how dairy is essentially a drug. And it hits some people harder than others, and it can just be really hard for certain people to get off of it. And so, I always have withdrawals. Like, it's like literally a drug. When I get off of dairy, I can think about nothing but how much I need it. I'm like that meme from SpongeBob. I need it. And everything just seems so lackluster. Everything that I'm so used to putting dairy on, cheese and such, just seems so lackluster. And like, I don't enjoy it as much for a period of time until I get used to being off of dairy. And it just is an entire struggle for me. Like, it just messes me up so bad trying to get off of it. I mean, it looks so hard for me. But ironically, I feel like more than anything, it's the dairy that is messing up specifically my skin. So, and then other reasons like being super congested, like having my sinuses flare really badly when I'm back on the dairy and such. And so again, that double-edged sword where some things might be better, but then there are other things that flare up and are not that great, and you just have to pick and choose what you're willing to deal with and what you're not. But anywho, I'm really thinking about switching some things up. Anywho, I am going to end this because it's an hour long. Not that you guys mind long rambles, and I love sitting down and talking and connecting with you like this. It's amazing. It's so therapeutic. And just, it feels so connecting. But also, I really need to go to sleep, because you know how you're so tired that your eyes kind of get that like grainy feel. Like, obviously there's no grain or sand or anything in your eyes, but when you're just so beyond sleeping, they get that like weird feeling. That's how my eyes feel, because I'm so tired. I have I've been staying up pretty late, which is normal. But like staying up until like 3-4 a.m. Like right now it's 3 a.m. And then having to get up and go to work, so I've not been getting that much sleep on the days that I work. But on those weekends, baby, I sleep, because it's like my body's catching up from the lack of sleep during the week. I sleep for like 12 hours straight. It's crazy, but it feels so good. Like, I just love sleeping and eating. Wow, sleeping and eating it's probably like, besides like reading, obviously, which is like my entire personality, is being a book girl. So besides reading, sleeping and eating is probably like my favorite things to do in life. So I love sleep. I just don't get enough of it, unfortunately, when I have to work. So I'm gonna go jump in bed. I've already brushed my teeth tonight. I wanted to make this a gum chewing ramble. Actually, I wasn't gonna do tapping because I didn't feel like putting on these press-ons, but I brushed my teeth without thinking, and I don't like to eat anything after I brush my teeth at night, because I don't like to time for